For more on this situation, I was joined by Michael Shifter, president of the Inter-American Dialogue, and I asked him what Venezuela would look like without Chavez.
It's hard to imagine. He's been a larger-than-life figure for 14 years. He's made all the decisions in Venezuela. He's concentrated power in his own hands. Without him, really, there are no institutions. There's lots of individuals within his camp and within the opposition camp. But really, he has really been able to maintain order for this period of time.
Well, that being said, you still have both sides trying to really, it seems, work behind the scenes to figure out what to do next. Let's take a step outside of Venezuela for a moment. What do you think other countries are doing right now as they're observing this? Let's look at Asia and particularly China.
Well, I think China clearly has an interest in Venezuela. There's an economic relationship there, and I think China is wondering if, in a post-Chavez period, how they would deal with the next government, whether it's a government that's led by a successor of Chavez within his own party or somebody from the opposition. And I think that they're very concerned about maintaining the economic relationship. This got this country with the largest oil reserves in the world, and obviously China is extremely interested in that, and so they want to look at this for the long term.
How much of the political structure depends on Hugo Chavez?
Well, today, the government, it all depends on Chavez. Really, the first time that he announced a successor was right before his latest trip to Havana. But before that, there's been really no consideration given to how to sustain his rule beyond his term. He is seen as the savior of Venezuela and really and embodies the will of the Venezuelan people. And there's really been very little consideration to what happens after Chavez. So now you have a period where it looks like he's really in very, very serious health. And both people within his party and leaders of factions within his party, as well as the opposition, are trying to figure out how to keep things under control and moving forward. But it's a very, very difficult challenge. Well,
could the opposition gain ground if Chavez is unable to fulfill his presidency?
Well, the opposition lost an election pretty handily in October. They lost regional elections in December. And there's enormous compassion and sympathy for Chavez because of his illness, which is understandable. So they're in a kind of weak position today. They could regain some strength. They could become unified. There's a lot. This is going to play out for a period of years. But I think in the short term, clearly the government and Chavez's party has the upper hand.